My dear students, now I am going to take you to a new world of concrete, which is very popular in the developing countries. Of course, in India we are making it popular nowadays. You have seen most of the bridges in a giant size. You cannot simply imagine. Even 2 decks, 3 decks you can observe. And those are the innovations in the world of concrete. The name Precious Concrete has 3 options. It is basically a concrete. Again, it's a stressed concrete, but you are making it a pre-stressed concrete. You may think at this stage, a concrete of a new version like polymer concrete, then whisper concrete, like that. It's not a new concrete. It's a conventional concrete, but the technique is a new technique. What is the technique behind? If you just go deep into the area, you can have techniques as well as technologies. In Precious Concrete, we are bringing together technique and technologies. As the name mentioned, it has basic constituents of concrete. You have cement, sand, co-segregate jelly, same. Sometimes you can have admixtures. In a conventional concrete, if it's a plain concrete, you have these constituents. If it is reinforced concrete, you have one more constituent called reinforcing steel, and there are different types of steel used for different purposes. But in Precious Concrete, you are using basic constituents of concrete, but a different type of steel, which is comparable with the conventional reinforcement you are using for reinforced concrete. As the name itself, you can understand, Pre-stressed concrete is stressed prior to the application of loads. In a conventional structural member, maybe a beam, slab, whatever it is, that member will be subjected to loading condition only after opposing to the intended loading. Here, before you apply the load, you are making the concrete to a level of stress. That means you are stressing before the application of load, so it's called conveniently pre-stressed concrete. You can have the salient features of Precious Concrete. There are several advantages. The main advantage, if you go for a conventional reinforced concrete member, you will have a bigger size or a giant size member. Whereas if you go in for a Precious Concrete member, you can reduce the weight at least to 2/3 of the concrete weight. Then you can make the member more slender when compared to the conventional concrete member. Let me take up in a sequence to explain or to introduce this particular area. There is a wide range of classification for Precious Concrete. The first classification is external prestressing and internal prestressing. Internal prestressing is somewhat similar to the reinforced concrete. You will have reinforcement internally embedded in concrete as reinforced concrete, but in a different condition, what is known as stressed condition. The reinforcement you have in reinforced concrete is ideally without any stress before you apply the load. Whereas in Precious Concrete, when you have the reinforcement, which is different from the reinforcement of conventional reinforcement concrete, you will have in stressed condition. So in the internal prestressing, we are having the prestressing steel embedded in concrete. Otherwise you can note down as it is embedded in concrete itself. In external prestressing, you can observe most of the Precious Concrete bridges. They are of box sections. You can observe the cables inside the section. So that is called external prestressing. But you can call a member an externally prestressed member even if there is no prestressing steel, provided the application is by a lateral force given to it. Like you can just observe by a scale, it is bent by application of lateral force. That force will try to hog up the beam. That will take care of the prestressing effect. So the first classification you can observe externally prestressing and internally prestressing. Essentially in internal prestressing, you will have embedded prestressing steel in a stressed condition. Next we will go to the classification what is called linear prestressing and circular prestressing. All the elongated members like beams, slabs, columns, poles, piles, you can call as linear prestressing because the stressing of prestressing steel is one direction, that is a linear direction. Whereas if you want to make a circular tank, water tank, or a bunker, or a silo, or a prestressed concrete pipe, you can have the prestressing steel wound around the circular shape, so that is called circular prestressing. So this is the second classification, linear and circular prestressing. You can apply a prestressing force through this prestressing cable, either axial to the member or eccentric. If the force is applied through the cable along the axis, it is called axial prestressing, and if it is applied eccentric to the section, it is called eccentric prestressing. You have advantages over the axial prestressing by the eccentric prestressing. The next classification is partial prestressing and full prestressing. Before you go for this particular title, you can virtually imagine how the prestressing affects the structural behavior of a member. For simplicity, you can have a beam which is prestressed. When you have a beam like this is only a model. When there is no load, it remains horizontal. When a load is applied, whatever be the type, whether point load, UDL, you can have a sagging shape as you can just observe. Due to this, you can observe tension at bottom, compression at top. So naturally, even for reinforced concrete, you provide reinforcing steel at bottom zone. Conventionally, if it is a continuous beam, you will have at the support negative moments, you can have reinforcement at top also. But we will have a simply supported beam in which you have tension at bottom, compression at top, so it sags like that, you provide reinforcement at bottom. So in this case, you can provide a prestressing cable which is eccentric to the axis so that there will be more effect compared to axial prestressing. So just imagine when you don't have any load, it remains straight. When you have load, it sags like that, but in prestressing, you are making in the reverse sense. So you apply the force, prestressing force through cable, you make the member virtually to deflect upward. You may not observe the quantum of upward deflection, but to an ordinary layman, I can explain like this. But the concept is quite different for technical people. So you will have an upward camber. So you can observe what happens when it is deflecting upward. So it has some reversal capacity. So when you load at this stage, it will first come to a horizontal level and further it will sag down, and that is the additional load. Now you can digest the point how it is better when compared to conventional reinforced concrete. Now the next classification I was mentioning about partial prestressing and full prestressing. Now it is something like what is called a load balancing concept. When you apply a lateral force like this, you are trying to hog up virtually, so you are increasing the load carrying capacity. To what extent you are increasing? Suppose it is a RC beam, when you apply a load, you can observe cracks depending on the strength of concrete, particularly tensile strength. When it is a prestressed beam, it is in a hogged position, so you will have no crack at bottom. So again for further loading, it remains straight, and again for the secondary loading, you will have a sagging like this. Now you can actually observe when you remove the load, automatically it will become straight. So that is the S-stage of prestressed concrete. So at this stage, everybody will rise up with a question. When you talk about the betterment of prestressed concrete, so whether we have to have extra care for fabrication of prestressed concrete members, certainly true. When you go for high technology with high techniques, necessarily you have to be doubly care in fabrication. You must understand one point here. You are designing a prestressed concrete member, for example a beam, for a specific load which the beam has to carry. Before you apply the load, you are going to pre-stress, that is also another load for the beam concerned. So the strength of the beam, otherwise the strength of the materials you are using should be higher when compared to conventional reinforced concrete. So when you compare reinforced concrete and prestressed concrete, this is the first point to be mentioned. So the materials you are using may be same, but in proportions it differs, and also the reinforcing steel is different. The reinforcing steel you are using for conventional reinforcement concrete has a maximum tensile strength of say about 550 Newton per millimeter square, whereas the steel you are using for precess concrete you can go up to 2000 Newton per millimeter square. Secondly, precess concrete is said to be crack free. I explained to you, when the load is removed, if there has been some cracks, immediately that will close up after removal of the load. So this you cannot find in any of the other materials. You can see the precess concrete sleepers. Now we are replacing wooden sleepers by precess concrete sleepers. When the train moves, if you actually observe by some instrumentation, you can have cracks in the sleepers. Once the train moves away, the cracks will be automatically closed. So this is the best example you can observe. Otherwise, if it's a beam in a residential building, you cannot observe cracks. Once you find a crack, you will simply log out this house and you will no more stay there. So such things can be simply explained why we have to switch over to precess concrete. Unfortunately, we are not popularizing that aspect, whereas in developed countries, they are 100% using this technology. The so-called precast prefabrication leads to 100% utilization of precess concrete, and you have many advantages over it. There is a cost saving, there is a higher quality, it's a durable materials you are using for precess concrete, and you are making it less weight. So less weight means it's less cost. But the main thing, when you produce in large scale, you can have more advantages. Cost wise, material wise, you can save, but that is lagging in India. Most popularly, we have introduced only precess concrete bridges first time in 1950s, and slowly we started using precess concrete poles, and now we are using also precess in sleepers. Now we have stopped at this stage. But in precess concrete, you can do wonders. The large span structures, when you involve conventional concrete or steel, you involve more weight. When you switch over to precess concrete, you can reduce the weight to 25% only. So innovative technologies available, innovative materials are also available. If you use the precessing technology, you can achieve such things. For precessing, material is not the concern. You can precess timber. If it is a beam, you can precess. If it is even polymer products, you can have. So precessing technology can be applied to any material. The masonry, ferro cement, fiber concrete, concrete, timber, structural steel sections, you can apply this technology. But precess concrete has several advantages over other materials because you can have any shape and size of the member, and with that you can get convinced that precess concrete has several advantages. Now you can make any element of a frame structure by precessing. The beam, slab, column, even bed block you can make. In most of the cases, we have two different distributions. One is called post-tensioning, other is called pre-tensioning. You can observe from the material supplied by our Director of Distance Education, there are two major operations in obtaining a precess concrete member. One is concrete casting. It is precess concrete, you involve concrete, you cast a member. The next operation is pre-stressing of the steel. So these are the two major operations. Which you operate first, whether tensioning of the precessing steel or casting of the concrete. Accordingly you can call the member. If tensioning is done first, the product you are having is called a pre-tensioned product. If the casting is done first, then it is called a post-tensioned product. Now at this stage you can ask a question, how is it possible to cast a concrete member without steel tensioning? It is possible. If you look into the figures given in the lessons and also the slides later you will be having, you can observe the technique behind obtaining pre-tensioned products and post-tension products. In pre-tension products, the manufacturing is called a long line method of pre-stressing. So you will have at certain distance, starting say about from 20 meters to 100 meters available in India, I am just quoting that example, you will have two strong beds. Each bed will consist of steel plates with holes. You can have the pre-stressing steel stretched between the two bulkheads, say about 100 meters long. Suppose you want to cast poles, say about 8 meters or 10 meters. You can have the respective molds one after the other in a long line. The stressed wire you can just embed with the concrete. After sufficient time, because the concrete should have sufficient time for attaining strength, it has to harden. So the minimum time required for hardening of concrete in pre-stressed concrete, they specify 3 days for a conventional method of curing. Suppose you want to accelerate the curing process, you can cut even at 1 day. The process is, after allowing sufficient time for the concrete to attain strength, you can cut the pre-stressing steel at the ends of the member, I mean. Once you cut the wire is already in tension. The tension is suddenly released to the concrete as a compressive force. So that is the force you are giving as a lateral force which hooks the member. Okay. So this is what is called the method of pre-tensioning. So in one stretch of tensioning, you can obtain, depending on the length of the pre-stressing bed, number of units like pre-stressed poles, pre-stressing sleepers. The next method, which is called the post-tensioning, you might have seen in some of the bridges. You will cast the member, say I section or rectangular section. While casting, you will have a longitudinal cavity in that beam. That cavity may be straight throughout the length or sometimes curved depending on the problem or type of load, whatever it is. While casting, you can provide a longitudinal cavity, and after allowing the concrete to attain sufficient strength, then you can insert the pre-stressing steel inside the cavity, which is called a duct, and anchoring from one end, you can pull the wires from the other side. So you have different sets of systems for pulling the pre-stressing steel. As I said, pre-stressing steel is available in different forms. It starts from 3 mm wire used for pre-stressed poles. You have 4 mm also for that purpose. You have 5 mm and 7 mm diameter pre-stressing wires for beams, slabs. Now the latest trend, you are using strands which are specially made for bond purposes. They are also of higher strength. At present, research is going on replacing the wire as a steel wire because of the corrosion problem. We are trying to make up with polymer products. Fiber reinforced polymer products are coming up. Glass fiber and carbon fibers are being done. And very recently, successfully, 2 bridges have been constructed using this non-metallic, that is glass fiber reinforced polymer pre-stressing tendons. So successfully this was constructed, and you can make it is corrosion free pre-stressed concrete members. Now what are the other things if you just look into it? Post-tensioned bridges are several types. You can have cast in situ, precast, or composite type of construction. So composite type of construction has advantages over other conventional types because you are involving precast sections of pre-stressed concrete, maybe pre-tension or post-tension, and later you will make some in situ casting to complete the structure. So by this way you are saving time. So in one of the chapters for this syllabus, you will be observing the advantages as well as the disadvantages of composite construction. But the advantages are more, disadvantages are less. So you can realize those things from the lessons. I have few slides also. You can get convinced the provision for making composite structure. In a continuous type of bridges, you can have the advantage of pre-stressing. If each span is simply supported, each unit has to be cast separately, but the advantage of providing continuity will not be achieved there. Compared to simply supported spans, continuous spans will have advantages. When you want to achieve that, you can have pre-stressed concrete continuous beams in which you can have the pre-stressing steel continuously from one end of the bridge to the other end. You need not have any cutting. There are two types of continuous bridges. One is called fully continuous, that was explained earlier. The other one is partially continuous. There are two things you must realize. When you provide continuity in your structure, like a continuous beam, you have an advantage. When you pre-stress your structure, you have another advantage. When these two advantages put together, there are good effects and there are also ill effects. The good effects are, you get slender sections, more appropriate concrete section you will obtain, you can have sufficient strength as well as better serviceability conditions. But at the same time, there will be some secondary effects. For example, the first advantage, when you have a continuous beam instead of a simply supported beam, you will arrive at a very slender section compared to a simple beam, because you are providing over number of spans, say 3 spans, 4 spans, like that. As long as the supports are good supports, otherwise unyielding type of supports, you can have the advantage. Supports, one support is yielding, then the secondary effect induced by the yielding of support will be much higher than the conventional load effect. So this is the major problem we come across when you provide pre-stressed concrete. Not only that, any type of continuous type of bridge. The second advantage of pre-stressing, you will have another secondary effect, what is called a secondary pre-stressing. That will make the member losing the continuity in the intermediate supports. Now you have just seen the introductory part of pre-stressed concrete. What are the different types of members we can make out of this pre-stressed concrete technology, and the salient features like advantages, how you fabricate, what are different methods, like that. Now you can realize the advantage of pre-stressed concrete structure when you provide pre-stressed concrete water tanks. The conventional RC tanks, when the water is full, you can observe the leakage of water. That will certainly lead to the corrosion of reinforcement and ultimately the collapse of the structure. But in pre-stressed concrete, as you are keeping the member in full compression, absolutely there is no need of having cracks, even shrinkage cracks. That you can actually see. Most of the tanks in India, we are constructing only out of conventional reinforcement concrete. You can see water need not overflow. Through some leakages, you can observe drops of water. Later that will develop corrosion, and definitely that will be failing in due course. But such things you can overcome by providing pre-stressed concrete technology. In case of linear pre-stressing, you are pre-stressing in one direction. There will be always some disturbances, like cracking of water tanks through that leakage, etc. When you provide pre-stressed concrete circular structures like water tanks, silos, you can use a pre-stressing steel which is going around the structure. So you are winding around the circular shape. That will make what is technically called pre-compression. That pre-compression will not allow the concrete to crack, and that's why it can avoid leakage of water. So definitely there won't be any leakage, there won't be any corrosion problem, so the life of structure will be long. So you can realize this point. There are two different methods of constructing pre-stressed concrete circular structures. One, by conventional way of doing, by the use of continuous pre-stressing steel wound around the circular shape, later protected by either by plastering or making some concrete core. The other method, you can use segmental units. These segmental units will be in 4 parts, and each part will be pre-stressed with respect to the adjacent units. There is an advantage by the latter method. In a continuous wire winding, because the wire has to touch up the concrete surface, which is the core, it has to offer definitely a friction with that concrete material, and there will be some loss due to that thing. So that can be avoided by using segmental type of construction. So when you have 4 parts, a minimum, pre-stressing each unit with respect to the adjacent units, you are reducing the friction loss by 1/4. Suppose there is a loss of say 20 Newton per millimeter square in continuous wire winding, you will have loss only 5 Newton per millimeter square. So that is a great advantage by segmental construction. But there are wonders about pre-stressed concrete water tanks. In one of the slides you can observe, it looks like a playground, the people playing cricket. That is nothing but the roof slab of an underground pre-stressed concrete tank. Now you can imagine what is the size. I told you in the beginning, pre-stressed concrete is advantageous when you go for large scale production and also large scale application. Compared to other construction materials, if you go for one house or one bridge, that is not advantageous. If you produce in large scale, you can realize 50% of gain comparatively. When you introduce prefabrication technology, again you are sure on the quality control side, you are producing quality materials that enhances the durability, and you can save like monuments. And most of the structures constructed out of brick masonry, they are still alive. But a 5-year building collapses, not because of earthquake, but because of the corrosion problem. Such things are less in pre-stressed concrete. Is it not a major advantage for pre-stressed concrete? Yes, you can realize. Regarding pre-stressed concrete pipes, that is also an innovation in pre-stressed concrete. You can have large diameter, lengthy pipes, particularly for underground. So such things will be having a long life. You need not worry about those things for say about 50 or 60 years. And I have just covered different elements. You can ask a question now, is it possible to pre-stress a shell? Because for large spans, for large openings, column-free structures, you have to have the roof either by a folded plate or by a shell structure, say a cylindrical shell. The thickness of concrete shell, if you go by reinforced concrete, can have say about 4 inches, that is 100 mm. But it is possible to make for the same span and size a 2-inch, that is 50 mm thick shell of pre-stressed concrete. So you cannot imagine, but virtually there are structures at Bangalore, you can just observe. So shells, folded plates, you can provide for large openings or large spans, and you can achieve the advantage by using pre-stressed elements. So I have just given, or I can say I have just briefed you to introduce yourself for pre-stressed concrete field. In the world of concrete, I told pre-stressed concrete has its own role. Suppose you want to have a individual building, but we go in for only conventional. This course is not just for passing the subject and getting a diploma degree in your directorate. So I have certain applications. If you want to start an industry producing pre-stressed concrete elements, you can have a model house making all the elements by pre-stressed units. Suppose you do it in a large scale, in a 10-year span, you can become a multimillionaire. So there are provisions. We have some project works done by our own students at graduate and postgraduate levels. You can contact our structural engineering department at Annamalai University. There are several people working on this particular area, and that will be useful for you. So you can have further contact for any more innovations and applications in this pre-stressed concrete field. There is a journal called Pre-stressed Concrete Institute Journal, exclusively for pre-stressed concrete constructions. Of course, in all other journals like structural engineering, also our Indian journals, you can have some of the articles pertaining to this pre-stressed concrete application. But in spite of all such things, we are not having awareness in using this pre-stressed concrete application. This technology is very high, of course, you need higher supervision. You cannot leave that job to a mason as you do for your building construction. So you have to appoint technical persons to supervise that work. Why I am saying, in conventional concrete, you can see any labor to lay the steel, pour the concrete, you give compaction, and that will be complete. But in precast concrete, you have to make some measurements. For example, when you want to precess the steel, that is the tensioning of the steel, how much you have to tension. So what force you have to give. If you give a force, it will certainly elongate. So what is the elongation? How to measure? Is there any mistakes or error in the instrument? So all such things put together that may lead to adverse effect. So to overcome this, the person supervising that particular work should be having some knowledge over that. You cannot train the other people. So you must have a qualified people for supervising. This may be one of the reasons why it's not so popular in India, but in due course, you can also make it popular. So I have only given a brief introduction about precast concrete. The lessons supplied by the Director of Distance Irrigation will illustrate most of the examples, and I have given about 50 slides to just demonstrate the ecstasy of precast concrete. I hope that will be useful for you. For your further contact, you are most welcome to our department. Thank you very much.